Hey everyone, this is Theo from Parallax.com. Welcome to another tech review. Today I'm going to show you the Huion Kamvas GT-191 pen display. Now this is a review unit that was sent over by GearBest. This pen display has been out in the market for quite a while now. I did not plan to review this, but since I have it, I'm making this review. I have already written a text review on my blog, so if you want to save some time, you can check out the text review because I have a feeling that this video review is going to be quite long. If you are a subscriber on my YouTube channel, you may recall that I have reviewed the previous model, the Huion Kamvas GT-190 before. Now this pen display, the GT-191, this is better in many aspects compared to the GT-190. This has better colors, better resolution, better design, higher levels of pressure sensitivity in its pen, so almost everything is better. The price is also higher. This is priced at US $500 compared to the $400 for the GT-190. I'm probably not going to make a comparison video because those are the main differences. So let's take a look at all the items that are included in the box first. This is the box. These are all the things in the box. We have a thank you card, the manual, quick start guide, and the driver installation CD, microfiber cleaning cloth. We have a screwdriver and 4 screws that are not in this video because I've already used that to fix up the stand. This is a full-size HDMI cable. We have a VGA cable. We have a USB cable. This allows the pen to be detected on the display. 2 pens, 1 pen stand. This is the power brick and the power cable. This is the pen with 2 side buttons. The tip is here. This is the power indicator light. This pen needs to be powered by an internal battery, so you do need to charge the pen. And this is the USB charging cable that's included. The charging port is right at the back of the pen. I'm not too sure about the battery life of this, but I don't think there will be any situation you will be left with no pens to draw because you can charge up both pens. When the battery life of this runs out, you can use the other pen while you're charging this. So it's great that they included 2 pens. This is the pen stand included. You can put your pen horizontally or vertically. The build quality for the stand and the pen, they are quite good. I like the matte surface texture. With this particular pen stand, you can just open it up and it will reveal 8 replacement tips. The nib remover is this circular thing here. You can just put your pen here, tilt it, and pull out the nib. So this is the pen display, the GT-191. The build quality is quite solid, and as you can see, the screen is very glossy, very reflective. Now this design is very similar to many of the other pen displays I have reviewed. The reflective screen, the rounded corners, the plastic body. The main difference between this versus the other similar looking designs is the addition of this rubber feet. Now this is a very good addition because when you tilt the monitor up, this feet will be in contact with the table and it provides a very good grip. And it also prevents damage to the bottom of the display, so that's very good. When you first take this monitor out from the box, it has a film protector on it, so you have to peel that off before you can use it. And this is how it looks like when that protector is being peeled off. Huion has also included a matte screen protector that you can apply on the screen. I have tried applying that on the screen, but because the screen size is so big, it's very difficult to apply that. Let me show you how it looks like when I try to apply the screen protector. So I wasn't able to apply the screen protector properly, and there were a lot of air pockets. Some of these air pockets, I was able to remove them, but some of these pockets, they are actually created by those tiny dust particles. Because of the air pockets beneath the matte screen protector, it looks really ugly. So I had to remove the screen protector, throw it away, and this is how I'm going to work with the pen and the screen, just work directly on the screen itself. This is quite smooth, not slippery. Of course, it feels better to draw on the matte screen protector, but this is very usable. The pen doesn't make any squeaky sounds on the surface, so that's very important, and I don't think this plastic tip is going to scratch the glass surface. Another difference between this pen display versus other brands of pen displays is there are no physical shortcut buttons on the sides. It's not really a big deal to me. They are good to have, but not a deal breaker for me because I personally like to use keyboard shortcuts. At the bottom here, these are buttons for the on-screen menu. Let's take a look at the back. So this is the stand that I have attached onto the display. These are the 4 screws that I was talking about, so you have to fix up this stand yourself. And to adjust the angle of this stand, you can just release the latch here and move the stand into different angles. At the tallest position, this display is almost vertical. Now if you want to mount this display onto a VESA arm, you can do so. There are 4 holes here. This is the 10 cm setting. This is the huge rubber feet that I was talking about. It's quite thick, very nice. So these are the ports: full-size HDMI, DVI, VGA. This is for the power, and this is for the USB cable. There is no DVI cable included. The only cables included are the VGA and HDMI cables. I have just set up the display on my table and it's connected to my Mac. It works on Windows OS as well. So let me show you the different positions of the stand. So you can release the latch here and move the stand down. This is the lowest position. Now notice that it wobbles slightly. That's because some of the cables are getting in the way. I have to move them out of the way. At the lowest position, it's actually resting on the stand, not on the rubber feet here. But when you tilt this up slightly, it will rest on the feet behind and the feet in front. So it provides a very good grip. It doesn't move at all. It's a very sturdy build. So at the highest position, the screen, it's almost vertical. One of the main selling points of this display is the color accuracy. This screen is one of those screens where when you take it out from the box, you power it on, the colors, they just look great. I have also color calibrated the screen and I was able to get a readout of 99% sRGB and 77% Adobe RGB, so the color accuracy for this screen, it's quite good. Viewing angles are great as well because this is an IPS panel, but the downside to this screen is it's so reflective. I think you can see me looking at you through the reflection. And this reflection, it affects the colors as well because it's so reflective. If you are using this display in a place, in a room with a lot of overhead lights or with lights behind you, that is going to be quite distracting. But overall, the colors, they are great. You can use this to edit photos or videos, no problem at all. Other than the wonderful colors, the next selling point, the main selling point is actually the pen and the 8000 levels of pressure sensitivity that it supports. This is a very sensitive pen and it works really well. But before you can get all this working, you have to install the driver. I have installed the latest driver from their website. Let me show you some of the settings that you can change with the driver. So this is where you can assign shortcuts to the 2 side buttons. You can assign specific keyboard shortcuts to the buttons. Just enter your shortcut here. And there is this area here where it allows you to switch between displays. If you are using a dual monitor setup, this is where you will find the ability to switch display very convenient. So for example, if you have another display here and you're drawing here, the cursor will follow your pen here. But if you want to move the cursor over to the other display, you can use this function, click the button, and the cursor will jump to the other screen. So now you can control the cursor on the other screen using this pen display. The driver also allows you to change the pressure sensitivity. So it uses this slider dial instead of the ability to adjust the pressure curve. I think this works well enough. Let's take a look at this tab here. So with this work area, you can map the whole display to the desktop, or you can match a portion of the display to the desktop. Of course, by default, it's going to map to the desktop. And the resolution of this screen is 1920 by 1080. So it's quite a good resolution for a 19.5-inch screen like this. There is definitely some parallax because there is a distance between the glass and the screen. So to offset that parallax, to compensate for that parallax, you have to calibrate your pen with the screen, and that's the button here, monitor calibration. After calibrating for parallax, you should be able to see the cursor directly beneath the tip from where you are looking at. Let's test out some of the drawing apps that I have on the Mac. This is Photoshop CS5. I have this problem with CS5. I'm not able to draw any lines. When I put the pen on the screen, I only get dots. I do not know how to fix this. This problem only affects this particular version of Photoshop, which is CS5. I do not have CS6 to test though, but I do have Photoshop CC, so I'm going to open Photoshop CC right now. This is Photoshop CC, and it works just fine. Pressure sensitivity is well supported, and this is really sensitive. So let me show you some quick strokes. Let me draw lightly and apply a bit more pressure to it. These strokes here, they taper really gradually, really well, really beautifully. Some other pen displays, they taper a bit abruptly, a bit too sharp. But here it tapers really gradually, and this is really nice to draw with. The transition between thin and thick, it's very smooth. The lines come out just the way I want them to be. So this is very good performance. And notice just how smooth these curves are. Again, with some other pen displays, when you draw lines like this, sometimes there can be some wobble, some angular lines, but here it's really very smooth. I have to give 5 out of 5 stars for this kind of performance. So you can use this for quick sketching. If you're using it for digital painting, definitely no problem. If you are going to draw comics with this, definitely no problem at all, because the lines, they are good, they are very good. This is Illustrator CS5. Pressure works really well. Now if you find that pressure does not work with Illustrator, sometimes you have to install the Wacom InTools driver. So this is Illustrator CC. Pressure sensitivity works really well. This is very smooth, very responsive. This is Mischief. I sense a bit of lag, and that's because of the app, not because of the pen display. But overall, it's still quite responsive. This is Medibank Paint Pro. Pressure works very well. It's very responsive. Krita on the Mac unfortunately does not support pressure sensitivity. I went online to search for possible ways to enable pressure, but I wasn't able to find any solution. And when I looked up Krita's documentation, it sort of says that this particular model, the GT-191, this pen display is not supported by Krita. Clip Studio Paint on the Mac works really well. The pen is very sensitive, very smooth, very responsive. If you tap on the screen, you can create dots like this. This is Tayasui Sketches Pro. Pressure works really well here. I've also tested out Affinity Photo, Affinity Designer, and Adobe Lightroom. Pressure works well with this too, and the pen display works well with Lightroom. I'm now using the pen display with Windows. I have already installed the drivers, and the driver options, the settings, they are exactly the same as what you see on the Mac, so I'm not going to show that to you. Pressure sensitivity works really well. The pen is very sensitive. Let me show you some quick strokes. These are very thin lines. I'm using the least amount of pressure I can. I'm just barely touching the screen and I can get really faint lines. These are the really thick lines. And the strokes, they taper really nicely, really gradually. So let's take a look at the strokes. These are very smooth. Let's take a look at the transition. Again, very smooth, and it's quite responsive. I've also calibrated the pen to compensate for the offset. So now I am drawing a cube. I just want to demonstrate to show you if I can connect the lines properly without the lines overshooting the corners, and I'm able to do that. So after calibrating, the cursor is always directly beneath the tip. It's very accurate. There is also none of the slow diagonal line jitter, so I can draw lines like this very slowly and they will come out very straight. So that was Photoshop, and it works great. This is Adobe Illustrator. There is pressure as well, and it works fine. The pen is very sensitive. The app is very responsive. This is Mischief. Pressure works as well. This is also a very responsive app, great for sketching. This is Sketchable. Pressure sensitivity works really well here. This is Leonardo. Pressure sensitivity works. This is quite smooth, very responsive. This is Krita on Windows. So on the Mac, Krita doesn't work, but on Windows it works flawlessly. Pressure works, and this is quite responsive. Let's check out the strokes. They taper really well. The transition is very smooth. I'm not sure why Krita works on Windows but not on the Mac. This is Medibank Paint Pro. The strokes, they taper really nicely. This is very responsive. Pressure works well. Most of the Windows drawing apps work really well. I do not have much problem on Windows as compared to Mac OS. So if you are a Windows user, that's great. This is Artrage. Pressure works here too. This is a tablet app, so it supports finger gestures, but because this pen display, it doesn't support any finger gestures, I cannot use it to pan and zoom, so it's a bit difficult to work on Artrage. This is an app that is best used on a tablet, not a pen display like this. My overall experience working with the GT-191 is a very positive one. This pen display, it performs better compared to some of the other brands that I have tried in terms of the quality of the lines. The main thing that annoys me about this pen display is really the reflection, because it's so reflective. Alright, this review has been going on for a bit too long, so let me just sum up the pros and cons. The main selling point for this pen display: the fantastic colors, the viewing angles, the pressure sensitivity of the pen. It works really well with most of the drawing apps that I have used, with the exception of some apps on the Mac. But overall, the drawing functionality, I would give it 2 thumbs up. There are not a lot of downsides other than the reflective screen. So overall, this is actually quite a good product. So that's all for this review. If I have any updates to my video review, I will update my text review. The link to my text review is in the video description below. And if you are interested to get this pen display, there are several purchase links in the video description below as well. So thank you for watching. I hope this video is helpful. If you have any questions, let me know in the comment section. If not, see you again in the next video. Bye.